I was lounging in my pajamas, half watching TV, barely paying attention, when a sudden knock shattered the quiet of the night. It wasn't the casual, just popping by kind of knock. No, this one had a sharp edge to it, urgent, almost frantic. My stomach turned and I muted the TV. The house felt too still as I made my way to the door, already wondering who in the world could be showing up at this hour. When I opened it, I froze. Standing in front of me was Ethan, my friend's stepson. I'd seen him at gatherings, sure, but only in passing and never like this, alone, looking like he'd been through a storm. He didn't seem surprised to see me. In fact, his eyes seemed to search mine for some kind of answer, as if he had been questioning whether or not he should come here at all. He didn't say much at first, just a soft, "I need to talk," as if the words had weighed him down the moment they left his lips. 1,000 questions flooded my mind, but all I could do was step aside, letting him in. As soon as he crossed the threshold, the atmosphere in the house shifted. The air seemed to tighten, the space between us growing thick with something unspoken. Ethan wasn't the type to spill his secrets to anyone, least of all me. But tonight, it was as though the floodgates were opening, and he couldn't stop them. I led him into the living room, still unsure of what had driven him to my doorstep. Ethan sat on the edge of the couch, his elbows resting on his knees, hands gripping tightly, as if trying to stop himself from falling apart. When I pressed him again, asking what had brought him here at this hour, he let out a long sigh, his voice shaky. "Things aren't good at home," he confessed. "There's been tension, a lot of arguing." His eyes darted away, like he was searching for the words but couldn't find them. I waited, giving him space to continue, but there was something about the way he spoke that felt off. The words were just surface level. He told me about the growing distance between him and his stepfather, my friend, but there was more lurking beneath. Ethan wasn't just talking about fights. He was hiding something. I could feel it in the way he avoided my gaze, the way his voice trembled every time the conversation neared something personal. "Ethan," I said, my voice calm but firm, "talk to me. You're not alone in this." He shook his head, the weight of something unsaid hanging in the air. "I don't know who else to talk to," he admitted quietly. "I just don't feel heard, anywhere." My heart ached for him, I won't lie. But something told me this wasn't just about venting. No, Ethan was here for something deeper, something more intimate. And the longer he stayed, the more the lines between emotional support and something else blurred. The air between us thickened, charged with an energy I didn't want to acknowledge. And yet, there it was in his words, in his body language. He wasn't just seeking advice. Ethan needed something more, and I could feel it pulling me in. As the conversation wore on, the tone shifted. What started as a complaint about his stepfather slowly morphed into something personal, something too personal. He leaned forward, his eyes meeting mine for the first time, and the change was immediate. "You're the only one who understands me," he said. His voice heavy, loaded with meaning. I could feel the shift, an emotional closeness that had no place in our relationship. It made me uncomfortable, and I knew I had to act before this moment spiraled further. I tried to steer the conversation back to something safer, but it was no use. Ethan was clinging to me now, emotionally entangled in a way that made it impossible to ignore. "I can't be the one you lean on for this," I told him, keeping my voice steady. "You have to go back home and deal with it there." His face fell, disappointment flashing in his eyes. But there was also something else, regret. He knew he had overstepped. The weight in the room became unbearable. The silence stretched on for a long moment, and I could almost feel his heart racing, caught between what he wanted and what he knew was right. "I'm sorry," he muttered, his voice breaking slightly. "I didn't mean." I cut him off gently. "It's okay to feel overwhelmed, but this isn't the place for that." I stood up slowly, placing a respectful distance between us. "Ethan, you need to go home. This," I motioned between us, "this is where it ends." His shoulders slumped and he nodded, his cheeks flushed with embarrassment. I walked him to the door, not rushing him, but also not letting him linger in the space that had gotten too complicated. When the door closed behind him, I exhaled deeply, the tension lifting but leaving a strange emptiness in its place. As I stood there, staring at the door, I realized how close we had come to crossing a dangerous line. The silence that followed felt like a weight being lifted off my chest, but also a reminder of how fragile emotional boundaries can be. If I hadn't acted when I did, this could have ended much differently. Remember, boundaries are everything, emotional and physical. They protect us, our relationships, and our peace of mind. And if this story resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe to Secret Woman Stories for more real, raw, and relatable tales.